So I'm here with Augustines today. Thanks for speaking with the Music Blog once again. So it's been over a year since we last spoke, and since then there's been a name change along with a new album. So I think the appropriate question is, how have you all been?
Good.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
And congrats on the release of the new album. What was the experience like recording that?
It was great. It was great. We finally got to make a record the way we wanted to make it. It was just us three working really hard, and snowed in a lot of the time, kind of near the border in a little small town called Geneseo. And I think we wrote for about 5 weeks, and I think we took 1 day off. So,
Wow.
But we were happy. It was the perfect thing for us.
Yeah, it was really liberating because in the past we've always struggled with finding the opportunity or the space or time to get together and work on music. In New York, it's nearly impossible to afford a rehearsal space. So we decided to avoid that whole situation. We left New York or New York City, and we went upstate and got a beautiful church. And got to spend a lot of time together.
Well, it's funny you say that. I think the Huffington Post wrote an article about you guys calling you the most thoughtful band. So I guess that writing process really reflects into the songwriting that it produces.
I think I don't know about the most thoughtful. I mean, we are thoughtful though, and we put a lot of care into what we're doing, and we try to be able to stand behind everything that we do.
So while writing and recording the album, who would you count as your influences?
Oh, they really are. They're really just growing now. I don't know. I think Eric and I have long been really inspired by Montreal. He's a French and Spanish artist. He's pretty impressive. Obviously, Joe Strummer and Anthony from Antonia Johnson's is a wonderful singer. Chauncey, so many. Edith Piaf. Lots of music from around the world.
But I think also the influences on this record were more the road and our last touring cycle. We went and played over 250 shows in 23 countries or something like that, and through that process, our lives changed. So,
Do you have a favorite country that you played in?
I wouldn't want to single anyone out because the other ones would be mad. But we love them all the same.
Okay.
Bucharest, Romania, I don't know.
Papua New Guinea was amazing.
Borneo. Born again in Borneo.
Did you notice any differences between playing like overseas versus in North America in terms of like how the crowd reacts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My loose theory, and I haven't had anybody call me out on it, is I think that soccer is a big part of like a group camaraderie overseas, and I think that with that culture there's a lot of singing and reciprocation that happens. It's the only reason I think, because we have very large festivals in America as well, like Bonnaroo and Coachella and stuff. And they have them as well, Glastonbury, but they just seem so much more interactive, and I have to think that because their national sport involves singing a lot, and clapping, and they hate beer. They hate beer in Europe. They hate wine and beer. They don't like alcohol at all.
They make awful bread.
They have terrible backstage food.
They just don't like having fun, period.
They're not very attractive either.
Yeah.
Their architecture is terrible.
Yeah. It's all new. It's weird.
No history.
So how do you guys think you've evolved as a group since the release of your debut album, Rise East and Ships?
Well, I think one of the major things is that we started off as 3 guys that were really just hoping for the best. And some really great stuff happened for us, truthfully. And I think the subject matter of the things that we're talking about, we got to counter some of the difficult stuff that we've been through with like some charity stuff that we got to be a part of, and that made us feel really proud. I think we got to develop like a really great fan base of people that care for us for the right reasons. And so now it's like we're just kind of going back around the track, around the world, and going back and visiting those people who gave us support. And So they weren't. We didn't know they were there last time, but now we know that they're there.
So you guys are currently touring through North America,
Yeah.
and you're playing the Garrison tonight.
Yeah.
How's it been going so far?
It's been good. We had some challenges. We had to play a few shows as a two-piece. And nothing, wasn't.
We had a family tragedy, so we renamed ourselves the Gruesome Twosome, and we went out. Well, the thing is, we hate to cancel shows, and we had a cancellation because of snow, and I'm really proud to say that we're driving 20 hours to get to that show to rather than
Reschedule.
Wow.
just go on holiday. We're going all the way back 20 hours.
Where are you going?
In Portland. Yeah, we're going to Portland.
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna. But also the other thing that we did is rather than cancel the shows, because when you're a three-piece and you lose one guy, it's kind of hard. Just to
Right.
be honest.
It's a large percentage.
It is. It's right down the middle, 1/3. God. So if you ordered a pizza and you got 1/3 of that pizza, you probably wouldn't be very happy. Or if you got a 6-pack and you only got
2?
you were missing 2.
4? You're missing 2.
You would be very happy about that 6-pack.
Right.
And we understood this, but we refused to cancel. And again, because of the fans being the fans that they were totally cool. And we don't even really like calling them fans, just the people, the supporters that they were. So we got through it. So it's one for the memory books.
Well, it's very dedicated of you guys. So you have a 20-hour drive coming up. What do you guys do while you're on the road for fun to make the time go quicker?
Make fun of the drummer.
We play Kick the Drummer.
Yeah.
We talk about how we should clean the van, probably.
Right. How
It's
does
turning
the
into
drummer feel about that game?
the drummer. He's
He
pretty.
feels very English about it.
He's very English, very well mannered.
Yeah.
We talk about how we should clean up our hamster box that is a van. We're sort of nesting in there at the moment. It's pretty gross. We DJ a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody in the band's a very good DJ. Rob took us through 4 decades
Wow.
of pop hits the other day.
It took me 4.5 hours. I always started in the late 50s and then all the way up to what?
It's the 90s.
Did I hit 2000?
Nope.
I didn't get
Nope.
there?
That's next chapter.
Alright.
Eric's very good. We all have our little hand in it. Keep the tunes rocking.
Yeah. Other than talking, I mean, we listen to music, we talk, we rest. That's really what you're looking
Very
at.
excited.
We
Sit there and
tweet.
stare out
Right.
the window and think.
We tweet a lot, but not when we're in Canada because we don't have.
Phone reception or
Yeah.
service, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're always like
Have to
Wi-Fi
look for
junkies.
Wi-Fi.
Like, hey man,
Withdrawal.
psst, got any Wi-Fi? Yeah, right this way in a dark alley. Sorry, go ahead.
So if you guys could trade places with another artist in the music industry for one day, who would you trade places with? If you could answer as a group or
That's a good question.
Very
individually.
good question.
I could just try it.
Dead or alive?
Yeah, sure, either.
I want to say Sting just because he wears white gauzy pants.
I want to
He's
say
skinny.
Yanni because I'd love to play the Acropolis.
Yanni's got a sweet stash too.
I think I'd be Kenny G.
Kenny G's
It's
very,
sad.
he's a very violent man.
I think I'd be
People
Kenny
don't know that.
It's a very eclectic mix.
Ah.
Very violent man.
You notice all of them have a certain perm or puff to their
Also, they
hair.
also all 3 wear white pants.
Yeah.
So you would match, so.
Yeah, Sting does. We all have weird ponytails. I don't think Sting ever had a weird ponytail.
We had a
He
weird
must
mullet.
have. He probably had a mullet.
Yeah.
He
Well,
did have a mullet, Live Aid era.
Yeah.
So who else have you guys been listening to other than the top 40 pop hits?
There's this Nashville songwriter named Patty Griffin that I've sort of been putting on a little bit later. She ended up actually marrying Robert Plant.
Oh, interesting.
She's got a really beautiful voice. Listen to Sun House a little bit, an old Blue Sky. What were we
I
just?
still can't stop listening to the Beyonce and Alex record.
Yeah, I still listen to it.
Like every day.
Yeah, I listen to that quite a bit.
I actually started, I went through a phase in my life where I listened to a lot of jazz and I just started getting back into it. And it's really exciting because, everyone knows Charlie Parker, but now that I know music more, I hear it differently than I did when I was younger. I was just listening to Charlie Parker yesterday and I was hearing things that I'd never heard before. I would imagine it's like watching The Never-Ending Story again. If I saw it again, which some people have told me not to do, I would probably see it as a very different movie than when I was a child.
I don't know if I want it to be different.
I'm gonna hold on to it, I think.
Falcor!
Artax.
Oh, the Artax. Don't bring it up. You always bring it up.
So hard.
It's super hard. Still hard.
Someone wrote an article about that, how the Artax drowning in the quicksand of sorrow,
Swamp of Sadness.
Swamp of Sadness was essentially like a defining moment for our generation because it embodied a lot of the the emotional issues that we have.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a really well written article and it made a lot of sense.
Our parents' generation had JFK, the Vietnam
We had the
Martin Luther
Never-Ending
King.
Story.
We had Artax.
Yeah. So what has you guys excited for the rest of 2014?
Oh.
Yes.
What are we excited about, or are we excited?
What are you excited
What are we
about?
excited
what?
about? I'm really excited to get back overseas and do that tour. And Australia has been talked about this year. There's some places that we've gone before, but we would like to go more, like Ireland. Hopefully that happens. Scandinavia would be great. Iceland would be great. We'll see. We're also really happy to be here.
In Toronto?
Yeah, we just we have a lot of friends here actually, and they've eaten up all our guest list tonight. So we will be seeing them. Canada's great. Like I spent a little time. I did a little bit of a trip through the Yukon last year, and being up in Quebec, it's really lovely. It's much more fun when people know who you are. It wasn't so fun before.
Right, when people can actually sing along. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. I hate to sound I'm being a smart ass, but it's really true. Like when people know your music, it's a lot more fun.
Well, I guess it's more of an engaging experience
Yeah.
to play to an audience who knows who you are and can respond a little
Yeah.
more loudly.
This was our first headlining tour in a while, in 2 years or so. Do you hear that? And we honestly we didn't know what to expect coming out on this tour. Sorry, I should phrase that more accurately. It's our first headlining tour in North America in a while, and we didn't know what to expect, and it's been a real joy to see everyone coming out to the shows and singing along and dancing, and they're genuinely happy to see us and meet us, and the feeling's mutual. So I'm looking forward to coming back from Europe and England, and then coming back here and doing round 2, seeing where it goes.
Having your set list is sort of like your baby, like your show, and it's sort of like a family member, right? Like you wouldn't even think twice about giving them your coat or getting them something to eat or protecting them or whatever. And the same thing, it's like the music, like you just want it to be as good as possible. It's almost like this nature kind of just happens inside you. You just want it to be, you want people to enjoy it. And when you see that people are, it's like one of the best feelings in my life, like that I can speak about. It's a really nice feeling.
We've had a bunch of shows on this tour that have gone up close to 2 hours.
Wow.
Because we just don't want to stop playing. It's too much fun.
Well, on the topic of set list, how do you feel about afterwards when the crowd, like everyone is just like trying to get a hold of your set list? Is it a weird experience for you, or is it nice to know that people are so like attached?
It's really funny. That I don't notice that so much anymore. But I was getting to the point towards the end of last record where I felt like Mickey Mouse or something at like a Orlando Disney theme park or something, because I'm more like, I would love to just ask people like, oh, where are you from? Oh, really? Oh, Ontario, cool. London, Ontario. That's interesting. How did I have a lot of questions myself, and I've definitely felt like sometimes the cell phones, people filming all the time or want to do selfies and stuff, like
Right.
it doesn't bother me now, but towards the fatigue of that last album cycle was a really big effort from us. I did start feeling like I just wanted to talk to people more than take photos with them.
Right.
Being honest.
So for our very last question, what's the best part of being in your band, in the Augustines?
These guys. No, for real. It's
You're pretty cool.
That brings us up, buddy.
yeah, no, it's we couldn't do it. It's way too hard. I mean, I talk to people all the time who are just say like, it's so wonderful you get to follow your dream, and I completely understand the sentiment, but it's really hard. We were up at 3:30 this morning to do a television show, and we're here now, and we have a show tonight.
We're getting sick.
We're getting sick, and it's really hard, and it simply wouldn't be worth it if it wasn't for the friendship that we have, and we wouldn't be able to get through it without the friendship that we have.
Can I say something on that subject? You can tell when a band doesn't have it too. 'Cause
Yeah.
we play festivals and there's multiple bands there, and there's the whole backstage area. You can just see when there's not camaraderie, and I always feel bad for people who have success with the band that they don't all
Get
Get
along
along.
with, yeah.
care for each other. And I'm glad that we do, because it's not pretty when you see it. And it's like some get really successful and they can't get.
Yeah.
They have no option. They have to be in the project, and like we're lucky.
Well, I feel like the audience would also pick up on that
Yeah.
if you're not talking to each other. I think I remember at your show last year, you guys like hugged each other after the
Yeah.
end of your set, which was nice to see.
We're all going through it together. We're like a platoon, just trudging through the mud. The revolutionary, the three guys with the bandages on their head. No, really. And the funny thing is, with different color coats. No. We are always cracking jokes, the different cultures and stuff. But no, and it's funny when the bands that you think in your mind, like, God, I bet you they're not very close. They're probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell the ones that are.
Well, it was really nice speaking with you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to do an interview with us, and we are looking forward to your show tonight.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Susan.
thank you.